Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode on our single player survival Minecraft world. We are in our very less than pretty library, which we might actually do a bit of an upgrade to in the future. I actually really want to get this upgraded, because of course we've got the giant tree growing on top here, and inside just isn't working. We've also got an old nether portal, and that's just not working for us right there. So we've got a lot of things to fix up and change. Tell me what you think about this area. Tell me if you want some of this area fixed. And leave it in the comments, because that will be where I'll be able to find out, and we can probably come back here in a few episodes' time and really make this place, get this place up to scratch, because this was built a very long time ago. In fact, almost a year ago. If you have a look at the last episode, which was pointed to me in, out to me in stream, actually before that video was out, but the date was pointed to me in stream, and that date of the last episode is the same date of our very first episode, which is really, really cool. So the very first episode, we've just passed a year. We've passed one whole year on this world, and man, it's crazy. It's crazy. This is almost a year ago that we built this. It's just insane every time I look at it. Think about it, or whatever. It's incredible. So, without further ado, we are going to be building ourselves a grocer, which will be around that area there. Not on top of the bookshelves, way behind them. We'll get to that now. But first of all, in the last episode, I did mention that we have lost some pieces of armor. We've got ourselves protection 4 on these boots, which is pretty cool. These ones were just found in a chest. And we've also got ourselves our helmet with respiration protection and mending on it. I think those were the ones that we needed to fix, right? Yeah, that'll do well. So, in fact, with these protection 4 boots, I'd really love to get some more fire resistance boots. So that'll be good. Let's check what we get there. We get unbreaking, and let's check what we got with books. We get feather falling. By the way, we got 44 levels to spend here. I've spent some time off camera. And that has been what I've been doing, just AFKing, getting some levels. Do we have lapis? We sure do. We'll pop some of that in there, pop one of these in there. We got feather falling, which is exactly what we needed. Beautiful. That's what I want on these boots. What do we have now? We've got protection 3. I'm not happy with that. What have we got on that? Punch 1. I'm not happy with that either. What else do we need enchanted? Maybe a helmet. We've got respiration and protection. Maybe we can do another helmet. Let's make ourselves another helmet over here. And see if maybe we can get ourselves... Do we have any extras in there? No. See if we can maybe get ourselves Aqua Affinity or something like that. We've got Respiration, Protection, Fire Protection, Breathing, Aqua Affinity. But Aqua Affinity, I think, has different levels. Do we have any in here? I think they've got different levels, so that's a level 1. We'll pop that in there. Protection 3. Nothing good. Man, we are very unlucky with this. We've got 41. That means we've got 2 levels we can really just take away with anything we want. Do we have anything we could just get a bit of an enchantment? Let's just do a book. We'll do the book. May as well do the book. Get a punch book. Okay, punch 1. What a waste of 3 levels. Now we can have a look at these. What do we have there? Fire protection. That is mine. Hell yeah. We got fire protection. We've got our depth strider, which is good. We've got our feather falling, which is good. We've got our mending book over here, which is good. What else can we put on that? I think that's pretty much it for the shoes. We'll pop those away then there, and then the other things which I was having a look was the helmet, but it turns out that might actually be alright, so we don't actually need that second mending book. So, let's get started. And we're back at an area which you might not be too familiar with, and now you might know where we are. So, this little piece over here is a newly built grocery store. I've just done a very rough build. It's nothing that's it's not gonna look like this. Look at that. That's like completely incomplete. But I've got a general look of the store, general shape of how I'm going to be working, and that's where I'm starting from. So you can see we've got this area here, going into this big room here, which is actually double story, although I'm not too sure whether I'm going to use both levels, but I do want it to be a lot larger. And I've managed to get it to fit in very nicely. Oh, we've got a rogue block over there. We have got it to fit in quite nicely with this build here. So as soon as we fix that piece up there, that will work very, very well, and then we'll have a balcony over there connecting into here, which I think is a great thing because it works very well. We're very, very well together. So let's get started on the inside here. In fact, I'll just show you the inside before we get started. So we've got a few pieces like this which really can't be changed because right outside there, we've got ourselves a piece like that. So we could do something with it, but we can't change it up too much. Maybe putting a little window or something in there could be something to do in the future. We'll get to that. Oh, by the way, I ended up wanting an enchantment for my sword because my sword's got looting, mending, sweeping edge, and sharpness, but I wanted sharpness 5 and potentially unbreaking, but we didn't get that. However, I got a sword with a fire aspect and sharpness, and I'm not a big fan of fire aspect completely on my normal sword, but I don't mind it, and we got sharpness, which in all fairness, it might actually make my sword a better sword in the end. and then we just need unbreaking, but we needed a lot of levels for that, and in fact, one way is too expensive. The other thing is, I was trying to save levels, and we've got fire protection on these, and mending, and then we've got this mega huge book over here, which we also need a bunch of levels for, so we'll have to get to them in the future. Now, I want to get this area here broken out, and my idea of this area right here is probably to do a large window. Let's see how that's going to look there, and over here, I'm thinking that we'll probably have to come down with some of these. Let's do that quick. We'll go here, 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 and done. Cool, let's see how that looks from the outside. So yeah, my thought is I want this window to be going up that way. We've got 4 blocks to work with. I think that'll be a good number. Despite the fact that I prefer an odd number of blocks, that'll be fine. We'll go up like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we'll go as high as we can there. And then I want this window to have a little bit of an interesting curve to it. Hopefully we can get that to work for us. We don't need those blocks in the side there. Like that. Perfect. Yeah, I want this window to have a little bit of a curve if we can. However, I'm never sure if this is actually going to work. So let's get in there. And we will start off by doing something like this. Get the shape in. And that connects inward there. Yeah. Okay, cool. The other thing is I'm not too sure whether we're going to go with the cyan over here. Because that is a very bright color, which I like. Because it creates a bit of brightness in our very kind of dull color scheme that we got going on in most places. This brown and gray, which obviously works very, very well. I love the way that works, but I think it just, sometimes we got to be careful going too colorful in it because it sometimes doesn't quite work. Let's see how this is going here. Obviously, we don't have enough cyan clay. It's not cyan clay, cyan stained glass. I don't know if I said clay before. If I did, that's just me. Okay, let's see how this looks. Coming over here, we don't need the bottom level, that's for sure. So we can save some over there before I have to go get us some more cyan glass. And the other thing is, inside of the shop, I'm planning on having, because it's obviously a little bit like dark, because there's no windows on that side, I'm planning on doing some spruce slab flooring down there. And not slabs are really unimportant, it's just to save on materials. But the spruce flooring is going to be in here, to make this store look a little bit brighter. And in fact, we can even have a window up there. And I'm not too sure how that's going to work. Let's just quickly check that out. In fact, that could be an interesting thing to consider here. We've got this, which could be walkable in here. So I could really put an entrance in here and have you go down this way. Yeah, that could be an idea. You know what? I'm going to make a proper store here. I'm going to have this as like our checkout entrance. And that over there is our main entrance. So you come in, look at stuff there, go down a level, and walk your way out this way. I think that's actually going to be pretty cool. Instead of like a trader, it's going to be an actual medieval grocery store. So I think what I'll do is I might just put this window in. I'm probably going to use a bit of the, what is it? Spruce, probably. Maybe spruce, maybe a bit of oak wood up there. Just to get this to look like a separate piece, this window itself. And then we'll also probably go ahead and put in this bottom piece here with the, maybe some of these actually. Let's just check if this will work. Sometimes this pattern doesn't work, but I think we might get it to work. And where we find out is at the end here. So if we do that there. No, we got to figure this out. So I want this to finish up on that corner like that as it finishes up there. So that one would have to go there. Let's check if we can match it up here somehow. Sometimes you can figure out a weird way of doing things. There. Oh, wait. In there. One like that. Yeah, it's just not going to work for us. That's not going to work. Maybe what we could do. I need a plan here, don't I? If we put one in there, that just won't work. Okay. Or how can we get that one to curve? I can only put it that way. Man, that's annoying. That's annoying. There might be a way to do this. I can't think of it right now. And we're back, guys. So, this is what we're looking at. Quite a lot has actually changed since the last clip. I've kind of just thought about this shop, and I've been like, you know what? I could do this, I could do this. All of a sudden, I've just had so many ideas crammed into one little store thing. And it's quite a lot of stuff, and I'm really excited to show you because I think it's going to turn out really, really well. And even if it doesn't look too good, it's going to be very, very interesting. So, first of all, window is fixed. We can have a look and you can kind of see some ideas that I've got going. And I'm not going to give it too many away. We'll go down there soon. But that window is looking good and I think it's all coming pretty well. Coming up the top here, everything's looking fine, I think. I like the entrance. I think from a far distance, well, a little bit of a distance, it looks pretty good. I think from flying from above, it looks good. And everything here is just kind of topping off with this building, that building, and all these buildings just coming together very, very well. I'm super excited for this area to kind of just pull together. You know, down here has been a long time coming. We've obviously got to put something in here. I'm wanting to get maybe nothing too large, just something to finish off that piece here and fill this area up. Maybe even a little pathway down the middle there, leading into the back there. That could be kind of nice, but this is what we're working on today, so let's not get too distracted. Going into this store, I'm going to put in a pressure plate. Alright, they'll actually go over there. So you walk in, the doors open up, welcoming you into the store. Now you may be saying, what the hell's going on with these things? And I will explain that in due time. We'll be back there. We'll come back there in a minute. But first of all, I've got this area up the top here, which is your entrance area. And what I'm thinking, because the strategy with a lot of grocers around me, pretty much, I used to actually, fun fact, I used to work in one when I was younger, and this is sort of the plan you have. So as you're walking in, fair enough, this is a medieval place and people probably couldn't care less, but it's part of the fun anyway. So walking in here, you've got like all this fresh food. You've got fresh stuff happening. Even though this might not look like fresh food, you'll see what I'm getting at in a few seconds. So walking in here, you want to see like fresh items, all the stuff you kind of, I don't know, the things you probably would want to feel you would have to feel healthy before you go to the junk. So the fresh stuff is at the front, and that's what we're trying to think of here. So this stuff here is basically going to become fresh fruit and vegetables, which we'll get to, as I say, and you'll see what I've done here. So going downstairs, you can see downstairs, we've got all of our aisles here. And I thought the bookcases made it look like a good messy sort of shelving area, and obviously some stairs here and there, and some oak would work very well together because they all match up together. And I thought that was a good idea with some capping on the top here of some slabs. So that was the plan, and we got all these item frames on here. None on this side just yet, but we've got all of these item frames here to maybe just add in some items. So we've got a whole bunch of items, some out of stock signs around here, and just some aisles to kind of make you a little bit confused. Pretty much, that's the only reason for it. In fact, we could even do these stairs kind of at an angle, like with the stairs kind of like that, so you can see through the shelves every now and then. And the armor stands, of course, popping down the bottom there, which I will get to. Don't you worry. Then, down here, this is where I got the idea for the armor stand. So I was like, wait, I could do like a little bargain bin. And that's what I've got here. Look at that. A little bargain bin with a whole bunch of armor stands, just looking like a bunch of stuff. I don't know what it is. It's generally junk anyway in those bins. So that's the junk in the bins that I wanted to add in there. And that's pretty much it. So what I've done is I've pushed in the armor stands at different angles. I've dropped them in. I've pushed them from side to side so that they weren't all stuck in the middle or in the corners. You can see these are kind of in the corner there from me pushing a large amount of them there. Then I dropped some in, pushed some in from all different angles, and that's what we got. So it's just random stuff that looks like stuff together. Then here we've got our checkouts, and I'm planning on putting a villager in here at some point, just standing there like this. But we do have the issue of this area here and here being attackable. Well, villagers being able to be attacked. So we might have to put some... Okay, there we go. Might have to put some of these in here like this, sort of just to protect him from the zombies and stuff being able to get in there. I think that'll actually do it. That'll do the trick. So yeah, we could get a villager in here, drop a little thing on the top there so he can't get out. That's the plan. And then down this end, we're going to have to put in a little bit of a bag collection area, and on this side we need to put something as well. So I'm not too sure what we're going to do there, but we'll get something there. Don't you worry. Then we can come back upstairs. And I wanted to show you, just in case you were wondering what I was talking about with the armor stands, I was pushing them in like this, so that they drop in like that. We'll do another one over here, and there, and then they drop in like that. So we've got some stuff here, and what my plans are, this is red and green, probably a melon, I'm thinking, something along those lines. This is all green, probably some cabbage or something like that, some green and brown, and some yellow, which was actually meant to be orange, but I kind of went yellow and green, which is alright. That's not a problem. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of fix these up like that. In fact, that's the wrong height. I need these to be on the top slab, and that will give us, because we're going to be putting in some cauldrons here, that'll give us a full ground, and I'll show you what I mean by a full ground in just a moment. We'll do this, we'll just do this the easy way like that, and then get that, and that, and now what we'll do is we'll push these in there. And the reason why this one's powered, by the way, is because of quasi connectivity, I'm pretty sure. So basically that one's powering and that one's getting connected by that, but with an update there. Don't worry, but that's just what's happening. If you guys thought there was some magic going on, there is, and that's all you need to know. No foolery. Because every time something weird like that happens, the reason I feel the need to explain it, even though I didn't do a good explanation, but it is general vanilla Minecraft, because every time something weird like that happens while I'm playing, I always somehow get, like, a message in the comments saying, you're cheating, or something along those lines, and it's just, I just thought I would explain it now before which I inevitably will get that message, but I thought I'd explain it now, just so that whoever would wonder would get it. So we'll do that there, that there, and then my plan was, I was going to put in a watermelon there, but it turns out I don't know what I did with my watermelons. I had some there. I actually need to plant these. Just going to put some seeds down. We can do another one of these seeds. We need to grow some because I want to do a stack of melons on this side. And I've got my pumpkins over here. So we can put the pumpkins down there. In fact, we want them another direction. Over here, like this. There, we could put one in over here. Can we do that? Like, maybe not. Maybe we'll have to cut our way into a wall. There we go. And we can replace the wall before I forget. And man, these mobs are going to get annoying. Let's quickly fix this up. So, hostile creatures, go bye-bye. And now we can finish off the pumpkin display. There. Perfect. And there. So those look like a little pumpkin display, just kind of tucked in that area. I want some melons. I'm probably going to stack them up. And by the way, do you like this little, I don't know, balustrade, whatever it is, holding these in? I thought I'd give this a go using some fences and some gates. I think that works pretty well. I think it does. So that is the plan for upstairs here. Now we can go downstairs. And what I'm going to do is I'm planning on having like a little kind of meat and seafood area. You see what I'm talking about? You see this? This can sometimes be bad for villagers. They can get attacked. So what I was going to do is I was going to make like a little meat and seafood thing here where I've got like, in fact, that might be a bit too close to the checkout. There, we can put one of those down. We need another item frame, which I need to make a lot more of. There's like more than a stack of item frames in there, and it's still not full. So there, we put one of those in. Got a fish. And then what I was going to do is I was actually going to put in one of these, and hopefully, yep, good, that does block it off. We can then put in some raw beef. And then I was going to do another one over here with some nether wart, which the nether wart blocks, which I don't have any on me. And that was going to be the pork chop or something like that, just to kind of get it together. In fact, that could actually be really good for a bin of apples up the top here. That could be a good idea. We could do with some of the, we could put nether wart there. We could put in some of these signs around it, which kind of look like it's a like box, and put some apples up there. That would be a good idea. Just fill this area up. That's pretty much the plan. I want to fill this area up. And I'm also going to put it in over here, because there's always, in fact, maybe not up here. We might put it down here. There's always some plants and stuff which never really sell, and we can put them around there. And that'll be a good thing. And then some eggs, just things. We can do things around everywhere. That's the plan. So I'm going to get going on that, and we can see what it turns out like. Alright guys, so here we are. We've got a bunch more stuff done. I'll eat this chicken, so we're full up. And we are going to go in here. So first of all, I changed the doors. I think they look a lot better than what we had before. I think this is the one time that these definitely do work for us in this sort of theme, where we've got a little bit of a white door there going into a building which is a grocery store. We've also got our custom auto doors. Look at that. And then going in here, we've got our melons, apples, all these fruits and veggies and vegetables and veggies, and they're all up here looking good. I think this area has turned out quite well. We could still add in a few more things. I want to add in some lights from the roof because we've got these torches around there. That's not too bad. And some of these things are filled. They are filled. So we've got out, for instance, a toy section over here with some random, like a doll being the totem of undying, which is the most unused item I've ever seen. We've got some other things around here which we're kind of filling up with just random things. And by the way, how much does chorus fruit look like a mushroom? Look at that, upside down. I think it's normally like that. But if you put it like that, it looks like a purple mushroom. Obviously some weird things. What is... Oh, look at that. You know how minecarts have got like this problem where it goes minecart... That's not a minecart with a hopper. Is that... That's not a minecart with a hopper. Why does it say minecart with hopper? That's a... Maybe I split them off at one stage and that data is still left on that. That's very weird. Because it's been named minecart with hopper. That is so strange. That is very strange. Obviously here we've got our milk, sugar, and eggs. things you commonly come to the store to get. And then I've completed this area here. Now, you may as well just take a look and check that out. There we go. There we go. And this is our exit over here, which is great. So, perfect. Well, actually, why did I do that? The exit is automatic. So it lets you out. You're like, yep, cool. Can't get back in unless you open the door. But yeah, you can't get back in if you don't right click. So you kind of just have to go around the store again and go back in here. So, guys, that is pretty much the store now. So for the next thing, I'll just take you on the loop because I haven't shown you this loop here. And by the way, I'm recording this episode pretty close to when it's going out at the end here. Well, at least the beginning bit I recorded a while ago, being a few hours, maybe. I think I started yesterday with it. And today is pretty much a few hours before this video is released. And I've just had a look on Twitter, and I've seen that Minecraft is getting parrots. So, I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on it, because I feel like we've needed a proper outdoor mob that flies for a long time. And also, I feel like a passive mob as well, because I'm kind of getting a little bit bored of the mobs in Minecraft, and I think having a parrot will be awesome. I think it'll be really, really cool. This area I want to show you here is just the area we've completed here, and obviously we're running at a ridiculous speed because of this, but yeah, this is where we're going to be putting in more stores and stuff. I think we might have to do a few more houses because I might run out of store ideas unless you guys can come up with some more. But yeah, I think the parrot's a really cool idea. I also saw that Dinnerbone put a emoji picture up, and he did mention that it's not emojis in Minecraft, but I kind of feel like that would be a really big disappointment because he's been hyping up that over the past few weeks. I don't know if many of you guys do follow people on Twitter like that, but yeah, he's been hyping that up quite a few weeks, and I hope it's not emojis because really, I don't buy into those things too much. So I don't feel like they will be the biggest change that he could have made. But yeah. That's enough of that. I just thought I'd give you guys an update on some thoughts that I had on some of the new things which will be coming in the snapshot. So, for today, guys, that will do this for this episode. I'm very, very glad with the way this has turned out. I love it. It's just an interesting build, I must admit. I don't want this to connect there. Okay, it's not connecting. Great. Yeah, been a very interesting build, I'll admit. It's not my normal build, and I do think it turned out kind of interesting with these sorts of things. And all that sort of stuff. So let me know if you liked it. Really, I want to know if you guys like this sort of thing. I'm not a fan of doing the small interior decorating thing, but for this sort of stuff, it is a once in a blue moon thing, and I do enjoy it quite a bit. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.